Welcome everyone to WrestleMania 17 review. Now, WrestleMania 17 has been crowned as arguably the greatest WrestleMania of all time. So, on my request or my quest to watch just random pay-per-views up until I'm caught up to the current to my current situation and watching WWE from 2002, we had to watch WrestleMania 17. So that's exactly what I just did. I just finished the pay-per-view about 24 hours ago or so. So now let's get to the review. Fresh in my mind, very fresh in my mind. It happened on April 1st of 2001, so I do have to watch WrestleMania 18, and then I stop at WrestleMania 18, and then I'll start reviewing some of the pay-per-views that happened in the post-draft 2002 WWE. So, let's get started. So first off, the first match of the night happens to be Chris Jericho defeating William Regal to retain his Intercontinental Championship. Solid match, decent match, not too bad. Didn't get too much time. Quite honestly, the first half of the card, like the first four matches, really didn't receive too much time to actually get going to where we wanted to get going. So this match right here, solid. Could have been better if it went longer. They opened up the night and it was cool. It was decent. It was decent. Jericho retains. That's pretty much it. The next match on the card was a 6-man tag team match. Taz and the APA, Bradshaw Farouk with Jacqueline, defeated the Righteous Censor, which was the Good Father, Val Venus, and Bull Buchanan with Steven Richards. Too short of a match to even be anything, quite honestly. This is a definition of a squash match. It was 3 minutes and 56 seconds. So barely a 4-minute match. Didn't do absolutely anything for anybody involved here. The ending of the match is watching Bradshaw using the clothesline from hell to take out, I believe it was the Good Father to get the pin. So it's always great to see Bradshaw hitting that clothesline from hell because it was vicious with it. Next up, we had a triple threat match for the Hardcore Championship. Kane defeated Raven and Big Show to become the new Hardcore Champion. Definition of this is just fun, right? For the past hardcore matches that I've reviewed from the past couple WrestleManias, they've all had their unique moments or whatever, or just something that make you stare at the screen. This is one of those here. Raven being the smaller guy, but out of the whole three, I said, yeah, there's no way he's retaining this championship. I'm sorry, there's just no way. And utilizing going to the backstage and fighting backstage, and you get Kane throwing, or it's either Kane or Big Show. Well, I think it was Kane. Kane threw Raven through a glass window. Raven getting ran over by Kane driving a go-kart. This is a bunch of just random stuff for a hardcore match, and I'm just like, yeah, that's what's up. I'm like, yeah, if anything for a hardcore match, if it's gonna be a bunch of random stuff happening, yeah, I'm more for random stuff happening in hardcore matches than anything, because I'm just like, yeah, this is perfect. If so, a lot of the hardcore matches, I'm like, yeah, okay. If that's what's going on, I'm cool with it. I'm definitely cool with it. The ending comes with Big Show getting ready to throw Raven off the stage, but Kane just big boot him, and both Raven and Big Show fall, and then Kane runs and jumps off the stage, do a diving elbow or leg drop off the stage, and then pinned one of them. I don't know who he pinned, and he won the Hardcore Championship. So that's what's up. That's definitely what's up. The next match was Eddie Guerrero with Perry Saturn defeating Test to become the new European champion. I don't remember this match at all, quite honestly. I'm not even gonna lie. Out of all the matches I've watched, this is one of the matches that really didn't stand out to me. I don't really remember this match at all, quite honestly. I can't even give you a good deep review between this. This is definitely because they were still doing the Radicals. It seemed like they were still part of the Radicals during this time period. Maybe I'm not 100% sure how this match happened. I'm not too for sure how the match actually went down. All I know is Eddie Guerrero won the championship. That's it. That's about it. I can't give you in-depth thought process of the whole match. I'm not gonna lie. I just can't remember it. I'm not gonna lie. I just can't remember it. The next up was Kurt Angle versus defeating Chris Benoit in a 1-on-1 match. This is one of the arguments Kurt Angle made in a lot of his interviews regarding to Chris Benoit as the wrestler, not the person. It was like there's no way I could just like erase him from my career because he was a larger part of his career. Of course, they had this match the year prior at WrestleMania 2000 is what they was calling it. WrestleMania 2000. They had the triple threat match for both the European and Intercontinental Championship involving Chris Jericho. So right there, and that was Kurt Angle's first WrestleMania. So right there, just right there, they're involved with so much with each other since like that year in 2000. And then I think even right now in 2002, where I'm at on SmackDown and Raw, they're still involved with one another still. So like a lot of the early like middle parts of Kurt Angle's career when he wasn't going for the world championship, he still involved him and Chris Benoit doing things for a little while. So I can see why he's saying that. This is a really good matchup, of course. Their matches is always a classic. Technical wrestling, submission experts going back and forth between who can hit the German suplex more, who can out wrestle who's going to submit to whose submission. But Kurt Angle won because, how did he win? He won by cheating. If I'm not mistaken, he won by cheating. I think he rolled him up and used the tights or something like that and got the win over Chris Benoit. And backstage interview, he's doing an interview and Chris Benoit attacks him, put him back in that crossface to make him tap out because Benoit did have him in the crossface. I think it was a referee bump. Benoit had him in the crossface. Kurt Angle tap out, but no referee. So Kurt Angle was able to cheat to get the win. And then Benoit got his revenge on Kurt Angle backstage. So right there could just tell you that this feud kept going. So this is like a 3 to 4 year feud between the two. Wonderful stuff that they did. Wonderful stuff. Next up, we had Chyna versus Ivory for the women's for the women's championship. Chyna beating Ivory for the championship. Definition of a women's match in the Attitude Era and whatever. 2-minute match. It was 2 minutes and 38 seconds. This is going to be a beatdown no matter what. The whole storyline was Chyna getting her neck broken by a pile driver, and then Ivory just targeting Chyna in general. Chyna getting her championship match here. Chyna just pretty much it was a back and forth for a little bit, but it's pretty much a domination, just Chyna, right? It was just domination of Chyna. Chyna wins. I mean, it's not surprising. Her in the women's division really didn't work out too much, in my personal opinion. I don't think she had the enough women star powers for her to go against. I think if they had Jazz, if Jazz was around on this time with Chyna, Jazz could have gave Chyna a lot of work, a lot of matches to work with. I think that would have been perfect for her. Of course, her and Sable, but Sable was gone by now, so they couldn't work with each other's. Trish Stratus wasn't even close to being the in-ring competitor that she ended up becoming. So Chyna just had to deal with what she had to deal with. Ivory is a good in-ring wrestler, but they just didn't. No chemistry type deal. No chemistry. She just wasn't on that level. In my personal opinion, she just wasn't on that level. Next up, we had a street fight match with Mick Foley as a special guest referee. We had Shane McMahon defeating Mr. McMahon in this street fight. Storyline driven, hardcore. Linda had what was going on? It was something that was going on with Linda where she couldn't get out this chair. She was just pretty much like in a frozen state. And Vince and Trish was in this relationship thing. And Stephanie was, egging it on also with the McMahon-Helmsley era. But then Shane came through to defend his mom, Linda, because she couldn't defend herself. Hitting a buy in WCW underneath Vince by signing his name. So, of course, this was close to the Invasion storyline of the 2001. That will happen later on this year, later on that year. They had WCW guys sitting up there and up top, just sitting up there watching. I saw Chavo. I know that was the first name I saw was Chavo Guerrero up there. But, I mean, street fight, Shane and McMahon, Mr. and Vince going at it. It's whatever. Of course, the moments of the matches happens to be Vince hitting Mick Foley with a steel chair, knocking him out. Trish rolling Linda down there and then slapping Mr. McMahon, and Stephanie and Trish get into it. They fight up the ramp. You had Linda finally being able to stand up after Vince rolled her in the ring to show beating Shane with some cans. Linda finally stands up, kick Mr. McMahon's, give him a low blow pretty much. Mick Foley follow up, beating down Vince. Shane hits the first ever coast to coast of his career, and Shane picks up the win. So not bad. Family feud. Next up, we had the second TLC match, tables, ladders, and chair match for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Edge and Christian defeated the Dudley Boys, who were the champions, and the Hardy Boys. It was kind of hard. You could tell it was very difficult for them to replicate what they did the first time they did TLC. You can definitely tell it was very hard because they had to come up with some different things. I think that what makes it more difficult is that this is the definition of you can't have a repeated match a full year later or something like that. Trying to replicate that, because WWE know that's something WWE does a lot, is they know how special one match was, so they try to replicate that match the following year or so. And it's harder on the competitors to do that. Quite honestly, it's very hard for the competitors to just repeat something they did prior that was awesome the first time. So this time they really had to try too much because fans was going to eat it up anyway, type deal. Granted, we had a lot more interference here. We had Spike Dudley come out there giving a Dudley dog to both Edge and Christian. I think he put Christian through a table. We had Lita come out there hitting the Hurricane. Oh no, we had Rhino come out there hitting the gore on both Bubba Ray and Matt Hardy through a table. We had Lita come out there hitting the top rope Hurricane and getting involved with everything too. And then she ate a 3D after hitting Spike with a steel chair. Jeff Hardy does a mini version of his Swanton bomb through a table. Wasn't the tall ladder that he had beforehand. It was a smaller ladder by the ringside. We had Jeff Hardy hanging on the belts for Edge to spear up off of that. But overall, I've seen this match many times before. Overall, good. It's a good match still. Just didn't capture what the first TLC match happened. Y'all know what I mean. It's very similar to Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, 25 and 26. I said 25 was always better than 26. 26 to me was too predictable because we knew Michaels was going to retire, in my personal opinion. I said, well, he's not going to beat Undertaker streak. It's just not going to happen. The AJ Styles versus John Cena match, whenever they fought the first time, and then the second time they were trying to WWE like to repeat the match and have the wrestlers somehow outwork what they did the first time. It's just almost impossible. When you wrestle near perfection or have a very great match like that and tell them to do it again, very difficult. Very, very difficult. And that'd be and then even then, if you was a fan of watching throughout that time period, it was kind of hard to separate a lot of the matches because this is TLC 2, right? Throughout the year or so, like at SummerSlam and stuff, they had triangle ladder matches and a lot fatal 4-way ladder matches. So it was really hard to separate those matches from one another. So that's what makes it really difficult because they all was pretty much blending together. If you was a kid watching it, you probably thought it was awesome because you already seen, like, you're like, oh man, this is crazy, it's like this. But then when they get older and you watch them back, you're like, dang, dude, this is kind of it blurs with the other ladder matches or the other TLC match. Like you get really confused. You can get really confused if you're not careful. You can be really, really confused if you're not careful. If you think I'm lying, go watch the triangle ladder matches they had. Go watch the TLC 1, watch TLC 2, watch whatever ladder matches they was doing at that time period involving these three teams. Any three of these teams that's involving each other with any ladder match or TLC matches or anything like that, go watch them and then tell me in the comment section what you thinking. Let me know, because maybe I'm tripping, but I don't think I am. We had a gimmick battle royal where it was a bunch of random people in the. They said gimmick. This is more of a jobber battle royal, quite honestly. The Bushwhackers, Duke Dorsland, Dork the Clown, Tugboat, the Goon. I mean, it was just 80s and early 90s before the Attitude Era. This is just what this was. The Iron Sheik won by eliminating Hillbilly Jim. Then Sergeant Slaughter gave the Iron Sheik the cover clutch, USA versus thing, that's what they was riding off of. But this was a gimmick. There was a gimmick battle royal that was actually just a filler. Come on now. What are we doing here? On pay-per-view? Come on now. Next up, we had The Undertaker defeating Triple H 1v1 match. This feud started off because Triple H said he beat everybody in the company there is to beat. Undertaker said, nah, bro, you thought. Set up their whole matchup, including some stuff with, Kane about to throw Stephanie off of a balcony and stuff, just to get the match with Triple H and stuff. This is the first time they encountered at WrestleMania, and it was good. It was a solid match. Nothing too crazy. It's kind of hard watching this match considering we know what happened considering what we've seen at WrestleMania 27 and 28. So it's kind of hard for me to watch this match and thinking like, yeah, because I'm like, oh, okay. But nah, it was solid. It was a good. It's good for the Undertaker because he just came off of because he missed WrestleMania 2000, and the last WrestleMania we had is the WrestleMania 2015, which was his Hell in a Cell match against the Big Boss Man. And we just came from that bad match to this one, so this is definitely a step up. Yeah, I don't think they referenced the feud. I mean, they referenced the streak in this. I don't think they did it, but I think Undertaker hold up how many wins he had at WrestleMania. So, but people don't. WWE didn't really start pushing that until a little later, anyway. So, shout out. That was a good match, though. Still a good match. And then finally, the main event was a no disqualification for the WWF Championship. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated The Rock to win the championship. Watching this match and watching the whole promo built up for the match, the package that they do. Always one of the classics, always hyped up for them. Stone Cold pretty much showcased everybody he was going heel. He was saying how desperately he needed to beat The Rock so badly, which was kind of interesting because, I'm thinking, why is he thinking he really needs to beat The Rock? Because WrestleMania 15, he beat The Rock in the main event at WrestleMania for the championship. So what's the difference between then and right now? Of course, I wasn't watching at this time period, so maybe 1,000% I'm missing a lot. I'm missing a lot of stuff, right? I'm missing a hell of a lot of stuff because I'm like, why does he really need to beat The Rock for? Because, I really don't get it. So I'm like, all right, I guess. It was very clear from the very start, very, very clear from the very start that that Stone Cold was going to turn heel. He was the build up, the promos, and all the stuff, and then in the match, he was doing a lot of heel stuff. But he was in Texas, he was in Houston, Texas, or whatever, and the crowd just, they just whatever, they just took it with it. But it was very clear, very, very clear throughout the match that he was turning heel. So him hitting The Rock with the steel chair multiple times, and Vince McMahon being out there. That didn't surprise me, nor was it shocking. I think even if you put your mindset back in 2001, I still don't see how you didn't know he was going to go heel. In my personal opinion, I still don't understand why people didn't think. I don't know. That's just me, though. That's just me. Overall, would I call this the GOAT pay-per-view? I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I'm taking a look at. I'm looking at Reddit. This is like a 2 years ago Reddit, just to see why everybody thinks this is the GOAT WrestleMania. I believe a lot of people have not rewatched the rematch, and not only that, but to me, I wouldn't saw this the GOAT WrestleMania mainly because the card, the very beginning half, the very half of the card was lacking, you know what I'm saying? And when I mean lacking, I mean you have 12 matches on the card, right? You have 12 matches on the card. The Jericho and Regal match, decent, just taking enough time. The 6-man tag team match with Taz and APA, Eddie Guerrero and Test, Ivy, China, and the Gimmick Battle Royal. So 5 of the matches just didn't do much for me, right? The hardcore match was fun. Benoit and Guerrero was good. Shane and Mr. McMahon, I guess for the storyline purposes, solid, but I don't really care for both of them anyway. I don't care for their quote unquote in ring skill sets. TLC was good, but not better than the first one, in my personal opinion. Undertaker Triple H was good, and then the main event was good too. I just still wouldn't call it the GOAT WrestleMania. I understand why other people call it the GOAT WrestleMania. I think they call it the best WrestleMania for the Attitude Era, which is crazy because that's 2001, and the Attitude Era was just like on its last, like that's the last full year of that before the change of everything and before they get to Ruthless Aggression Era in late 2002. So I guess I wouldn't call it the GOAT WrestleMania. What is the GOAT WrestleMania? Y'all probably figure that. We'll probably talk about it later on when I get to that review eventually. But that's just my personal opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all thinking. If you're on YouTube, hit the like, comment, and subscribe. If you on Spotify, rate it 5 stars or rate it whatever stars, and let me know what I could do better at this review and stuff. And hit the share button. Both sides hit the share button. If you're on Spotify, go to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go to Spotify. This is what it is. I'll catch y'all on the next one.